All right, welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here today. This is the final presentation for the Hiroshima ICAN Academy on Nuclear Weapons and Global Security 2024. Yeah, so this is the final part of our program, and we're so excited for our participants to share what they've learned with all of you. So I'll give a brief overview of what we've done so far in the program before turning it over to them. So originally we had 4 webinars where we met online first. We heard hibakusha testimony. We heard testimony from a downwinder of nuclear testing. And we also heard from many academics about the impacts of nuclear testing, about deterrence theory and its limitations, about the ideas of nuclear justice and injustice, and about the role of the United Nations and civil society in tackling these important issues. Then from online, all of us convened in Hiroshima together. While we've been here for the past 3 days, we've done things like visiting Peace Memorial Park and Peace Memorial Museum. We've had communication and discussion with many different hibakusha, and we're so grateful for each of them for taking the time to share their stories with us, and we feel like we've become good friends with them too. We also learned about not only the Japanese hibakusha in Hiroshima, but also hibakusha that were from other places or had non-Japanese roots as well. So we have a very more diverse and complex understanding of the community here in Hiroshima that was affected by the atomic bomb. We also visited the Radiation Effects Research Foundation and learned about their work, as well as we learned a little bit about Hiroshima's history as a military city as well. When we weren't having exciting field work or discussion with hibakusha, our participants also engaged in really thought-provoking discussions among each other. It was really wonderful to see them express their ideas, reflect on what they were learning, and build upon each other's understanding together. So in their final presentations, our participants are going to discuss their main takeaways from this program, as well as some of their actions going forward. So once again, thank you for being here, and now I'll hand it over to our participants. Thank you. Group number 1.
Thank you for waiting, though. Hi, my name is Joseph Owen. I am from the United Kingdom. I'd like to thank you all for coming. We're here today, obviously, because ICAN Academy 2024. First of all, we're going to talk to you about the major takeaways. So our experiences. My biggest takeaway, personally, from the Academy is the hibakusha. Everyone's heard of the hibakusha. Talking to the hibakusha in person is a life-changing experience, personally. Talking to the hibakusha made me realise, and made, I believe, all of us realise, that it's not just a diplomatic, political issue, but these are life experiences of people. They are much more than just political issues. They are their life experiences. We met Koko-san and Yoshiko-san. Yoshiko-san is the one on the left, and Koko-san is the one on the right. And these two are like sisters, even though they're not related. Koko-san is hilarious. And listening to Yoshiko-san's story was incredible. Yoshiko-san's story was like a nightmare. It was something you would literally have nightmares about. It made me realise, though, that the downwinders, so the nuclear test veterans in America, and her had something very in common, and it's relatable with hibakusha and the downwinders. It made me realise that they are the same, but they're still different at the same time. Some of their stories are relatable, but yet still different. Her story is devastating, and as I mentioned, it is stuff of nightmares. The museum and other hibakusha made me understand that it was not only the Japanese that are hibakusha. My takeaway, personally, from these experiences is that these are not just ordinary people. These people symbolize something that should never happen again. Thank you.
G'day, my name is Shayan Rasaratnam. I'm from Australia. And something else we learned during this academy and something else I wanted to touch on were the health effects the catastrophic health effects of atomic bombs. So when nuclear weapons explode, they release incredible amounts of heat. And this heat can kill people instantly and cause debilitating burns. But as we discussed with Robert Jacobs during his online webinar, and as we discussed with Dr. Yoriaki Noshida at the Radiation Effects Research Foundation, nuclear weapons also release radiation waves and radioactive particles. And those radioactive particles specifically can persist in the environment for several years after detonation. When these particles are internalized into the human body, they can cause a wide range of health effects, including acute and chronic leukemias, thyroid cancers, and liver cancers. These diseases can present years or even decades later. And this demonstrates that nuclear weapons can cause significant physical and psychological morbidity long after they are used. In a situation where nuclear war were to commence, the incredible amount of radioactive particles released into the environment would cause a nuclear winter, which would lead to mass starvation and almost the guaranteed extinction of the human race. It was also not lost on us that many of the health effects of radiation that we know about today were discovered in the context of controversial medical research performed by the Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission. The ABCC studied the hibakusha, oftentimes without their consent and without compensation. And even after diagnosing diseases in the hibakusha, they never provided treatment, seeing the hibakusha more as guinea pigs rather than real people who needed care. And these experiences highlighted to me the inhumaneness of nuclear weapons, not just their use in combat, but their development and research, and further prove why the eradication of nuclear weapons is so important. Pass it to David.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here and listening to us. My name is David. I'm from France, and I'd like to talk to you about our meetings with Governor Hidehiko Yosaki and Mayor of Hiroshima, Matsui Kazumi. Here you can see a picture of me receiving a gift from the governor. He kindly gave us those purses, and I would like to talk to you more deeply about what was the highlight of this moment for me. They gave us lectures about peace education, on how Hiroshima became a peace city, and also about peace actions taken both internationally, such as the G7 summit with world leaders or the Mayors for Peace initiative, as well as locally, such as the preservation of A-bomb buildings or A-trees that we also had the chance to visit. We questioned the governor and the mayor on how Hiroshima could use its specific status and historical background to push for nuclear disarmament, such as pressuring the Japanese government to support the treaty on the prohibition on nuclear weapons. And also we asked them how is Hiroshima dealing with its past and going forward in its recovery. The major conclusion and takeaway that we drew from that is the importance of visiting Hiroshima and make it visit to as much person as possible so they can experience with their own eyes the true effects of the atomic bombings. Even us that are studying those subjects, we couldn't understand before coming to Hiroshima the real effects of the bombings. So it was of paramount importance to come here, and I wish as many people as possible can come here and experience the same thing. So this made us realize the importance to maintain this legacy for future generations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Hollingshead. I'm from the United States. And the last major takeaway we had from the Academy this week and the individuals that we spoke with was the different instances of discrimination within the nuclear issue. A few of us talked with Chio Miyazaki-san, pictured here, who is training to be an atomic bomb legacy successor of her father, a Korean hibakusha named Lee Jung-keun. He faced interpersonal discrimination with Japanese citizens from a young age as a Korean living in Japan, and also institutional discrimination when fighting for government support from the hospital in regards to the atomic bomb survivors' health book. Yesterday, we also met with Shinsuke Taga-san, who asked if the foreign hibakusha story is widely known today. We concluded that the answer is no. It's important to know that many of the foreign hibakusha that were in Hiroshima at the time were from nations under Japanese colonial rule, highlighting the intertwined legacies of imperialism and war. Equally important is understanding that nuclear weapons know no discrimination when it comes to mass destruction. Finally, many of the hibakusha we talked with, whether in person or during our online webinars before our arrival in Hiroshima, touched on how they did not talk about their hibakusha experience until much later in their lives, when the stigma was overshadowed by the importance of storytelling. Many hibakusha only very recently started speaking out due to the discrimination they were facing from the Japanese society and the government, especially in part in denying their responsibility and aggression in the war. Many of the hibakusha faced twofold discrimination and were victimized not only by the atomic bomb, but also by being a foreign hibakusha in Japan that did not value and discriminated against them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anne-Sophie. I'm from Canada. So what are the next steps following this academy? The role of young people is invaluable to ensure a safe world for all, and we want to focus on the importance of youth moving forward and emphasize on youth advocacy. One key takeaway we got from most of the speakers we heard, whether it's online or in person, is the importance of peace education. The first step towards gaining more information and making some change is knowledge, which is why we want to focus on educating youth generations on what is nuclear weapons, what is radiation, and what impacts it has on our lives and on lives of other people as well. So one way to ensure that more youth get peace education is to collaborate with grassroots organizations and build off of those relationships to offer more training and workshop opportunities, whether it's using opportunities that already exist or creating new ones. The message shared during those activities is very important, as it could be the beginning or the start of a passion that would lead to activism. On top of the humanitarian impacts of nuclear weapons, it's important to focus our message also on the importance of divestment, specifically encouraging divestment for nuclear weapon companies by framing that such funding is immoral and unethical. As demonstrated by the ICAN experience, it is important to use small steps so we can start small and build relationships to create some change. The networks that we create are precious, and that's why we want to focus on those opportunities moving forward.
Thanks, Sophie. Hello, everyone. My name is Lee, come from Taiwan. And I want to talk about what will be changed if the nuclear weapon is abolished from a geopolitical perspective. Well, yesterday we participated in the event advocate for a ceasefire in Gaza, okay, which prompted us to reflect on the significance of nuclear weapon in the international politics. For the nuclear-armed country, these weapons are seen as the means of protecting their national security, particularly in developing nations like North Korea. However, for those nations, nuclear weapons pose a grave threat to their security, leading to collective effort to upset countries that possess them. If mutual understanding of each other's perspective could be achieved through dialogue, the concept of nuclear weapon could be dismantled. This would not only pave the way for nuclear disarmament, but also help eliminate the global conflict altogether. Yeah. Okay.
Just in our last remarks, we want to thank the ICAN Academy and the Hiroshima Prefecture for hosting us this week, and for the amazing guest speakers that joined us for the webinars and the in-person events. We also want to extend our gratitude to the staff that provide us with great care and hospitality during our time in Hiroshima. And we want to say, let's work together to further the mission of nuclear weapon abolition and to ensure that there are no more Hiroshimas.
最後でこの素晴らしいイベントをくださった広島県とICANアカデミーに感謝を申し上げます。特に広島による4日間でたくさん面倒を見てくださったスタッフさんに感謝申し上げます。今回いただいたオンラインウェブナルと実態のイベントは素晴らしかったです。たくさんの勉強になりました。今後とも将来のために核兵器廃絶を目標として他の被害を発生することを避けるように一緒に頑張りたいと思います。はい、ありがとうございました。
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Thank you to Hiroshima Prefecture, Hiroshima City, ICAN. Thank you to the media for being here. Thank you for everybody, the survivors who generously donated their time to be with us during this program. My name is Dershan. I'm from Texas in the United States, and we are a part of Group 2.
I'm Italy.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Uzbekistan.
France.
Ukraine.
Next slide, please. At 8:15 a.m. on August 6th, 1945, my country, the United States, dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, unleashing a tragedy the world has never seen before. As one survivor put it, I haven't been to hell, so I don't know what it's like. But hell is probably like what we went through. Next slide, please. My group comes from many countries to Japan. We have vastly different backgrounds, different career aspirations, different ideas for our life. But one thing is true. Hiroshima has brought us together. We will never forget what we experienced this week during the program, and we will never forget the stories shared to us by the Hibakusha. We must continue to share those stories when we return home, as we are the last generation who will be able to do so. Next slide.
Koko Tanimoto. Portray a blue sky, then a plane. Listen to the sound. A mushroom cloud invading the air, and fire. Dust and dark coming from everywhere. Imagine seeing all of this from the top of a mountain, knowing that your family is where the dark is where the fire is. This was what Kokusan dad was experiencing, was feeling. Kokusan, as his daughter, had to grow, feeling the anger and the grapes of wrath growing with her. She dreamed of beating the pilot that had made her family suffer so much. But when she finally met Robert in person, 10 years old, the tears started dropping from her eyes. A new consciousness made her understand that the enemy and the monster was not Robert, neither the US. It was war itself.
I would like to share some of my few impressions that I've gathered during my few days in Hiroshima. And first of all, my impressions of the visit of Memorial Peace Park. As you can see, this is the Aioi Bridge, the intended target of Hiroshima bomb. It was very surprising for me to realize that the intended target was not a military base, was not a strategic location, not even a port, to be honest, just a bridge that was easily recognizable from the air just to facilitate this unspeakable act. And I think this again highlights one of the intentions that the intention was to maximize the damage that the weapon of the weapon. And ironically, in a twist of irony, while the bridge itself has survived the bomb, everything else in the area was decimated. And I would like to conclude my part by saying that this again highlights that the weapon itself is inherently indiscriminate, that there is no way that the use of nuclear weapon could be contained to military base, to a military installation, that it would inevitably would concern civilian lives and lives of all of us. Thank you.
Chio Miyazaki is a legacy successor for her father, Lee Jong-kun. As a career living in Hiroshima, he often lied about his identity and used a Japanese name. Still, growing up, he was ridiculed, teased, and discriminated against throughout his childhood for being Korean. At the time of the bombing, he was proudly working for Japanese National Rail and was only 16 years old. He credits an early morning argument with his mother, which made him late to work, for his survival that day. In spite of the psychological trauma, severe burns, and radiation exposure, he carried double shame throughout his life for being a non-Japanese Hibakusha. He bravely shared his story publicly for the first time at the age of 83 on Peace Boat. Even then, he still faced pushback from fellow Hibakusha for unveiling the discrimination inflicted upon non-Japanese at that time in the society. As Jong-kun's story shows, this is simply not a Japanese tragedy. The victims and survivors were also Korean, Chinese, Malaysian, even Russians, Germans, and 12 American POWs. Most importantly, they were human. Nuclear weapons don't discriminate based on nationality or ethnicity. They don't care.
As a young child, I was deeply influenced by the story that my mom told me she learned in school back in Yugoslavia about Sadako Sasaki. And having spent my childhood aware of the story and knowing the meaning that it held, and knowing the impact it made not just on my life but also on my parents' lives, who studied about it in school and who taught me about it, I could not help but feel the immense pressure and the devastating effects that war in general has on children, as I was standing there at the Children's Peace Monument surrounded by thousands of colorful paper cranes representing hope. But the major takeaway that I had from this is that although this monument serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the children who suffered and died due to the devastating effects of war and radiation, it also underscores the urgency of fostering peace, as the most vulnerable, the children, bear the heaviest weight of violence and destruction. This visit reinforced my belief in the need to protect the future generations from the horrors of nuclear weapons and to strive for a world where peace is the lasting legacy, because although children don't always understand war, they always feel it, as every war is a war against children. Thank you.
Shinichi Tsuwani. He was almost 4 years old when he was found by his mom next to his tricycle after the atomic bombing. He died in the night of August 6 and was buried next to his tricycle, which is now exposed at the Museum of Hiroshima. ICAN has donated a sculpture of the tricycle to the International Red Cross Museum in Geneva last September as a symbol of the suffering of children in past, present, and future wars. For months, as part of my work at ICAN France, I had pored over the story of Shinichi and his tricycle. Every image, every word etched my mind, carrying the weight of a tragedy I could only try to comprehend. But nothing could prepare me for the moment I stood before it. The rusted frame and silent presence of that small, fragile relic struck me like a tidal wave. The room seemed to hold its breath, and in that silence, the unimaginable became heartbreakingly real. It wasn't just a moment, it was the moment. A turning point in my activism that imprints itself deep within me, a reminder of why I do this work and why I always will.
The most emotional moment for me during this week was the visit of the ADOM on the first day. Although it was not my first time visiting this, it once again felt deeply personal for me. As a Ukrainian, and having seen the devastating destructions of the cities back home, I felt deeply and profoundly connected to the tragedy that unfolded on the city of Hiroshima. It is a heartbreaking reality when you see the wiping of the cities of the face of the earth along with the people who live there, with their emotions, with their aspirations, with their untold histories. It feels deeply personal for me. And I felt like that the ADOM stands as a poignant symbol of such a tragedy that unfolded, and its scars forever capturing this devastation. Looking at the building, we can clearly see the path of the explosive waves. Its impact is frozen in time on the walls. And it is a haunting reminder of the past, a reminder for the future generations to come and for us today. Thank you.
All of us in our group came away with something different, but even at the end of that, we recognize that after we depart from Hiroshima, we have to take action. We have to do something. two things really stuck out to us and how we can take action on such a huge issue that affects the entire world. The first thing is, wherever we go, wherever we find ourselves in our different countries, whether we're working in government, in business, in the arts, in the sciences, we have power to influence. We can share the stories that were so graciously given to us. We can always remember the memories of the Hibakusha, their survivors, their families, their children, who wish that we'll constantly keep their memories and their suffering in mind when we're living our lives. But also, something from our meeting with Governor Yuzaki yesterday really stood out to me. Nuclear deterrence is fiction. It doesn't matter how much you want to believe nuclear weapons are protecting us. If one goes off, no matter how, no matter where, no matter when, it affects all of us. It's dangerous, and it could happen at any time. Because of this, it's imperative that our generation, ours, not the one before, not the one before that, but ours right now, and the next generations, we find an alternative solution. It's going to be hard. It's going to be complex. It's going to be painful. It's going to take a long time. But if we don't take it seriously, and if we don't consider it an actual objective, something that can actually be achieved, it will never happen. And all of us in our group and the entire academy, if we find ourselves in those positions of power and influence, no matter how hard it is, no matter what powers are up against us, we have to be courageous. And we have to do whatever little change we can to get the ball moving for a nuclear-free world. I know I'm almost over time. I have one last thing to share. On the next slide. On Tuesday, it was the first night of the academy. We had dinner with a number of hibakusha. Among them was Kunihiko Sakuma. He's the director of Hiroshima Hidankyo. He'll be attending the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony next month in Oslo. I asked Sakuma-san, who was 9 months old at the time of the bombing, how did you feel when my president, Barack Obama, came to Hiroshima in 2016 and didn't apologize for dropping the atomic bomb? He answered me very gracefully. He said in short, while it was disappointing, what would mean more to him and the other hibakusha than an apology is the United States and other countries taking action toward a nuclear-free world. And I think that's what really stuck out to me the most this week. We must heed these words of all the hibakusha, and we must never allow another human being to experience the hell that Hiroshima saw on August 6, 1945, and the hell that hibakusha must live with their entire life. Next slide, please. No more Hiroshimas.
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 Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are Group 3, and welcome to our Peace Bus. This is our travel agenda, and we will be the tour guides for today. And my name is Alyssa, and I am from the United States.
My name is Bautista from Argentina.
My name's Yuan Jingdong. I'm from China.
My name's Adji Hipkins. I'm from California in the U.S.
My name is Lucien. I'm from France and Morocco.
My name is Magnus. I'm from Oslo in Norway.
My name is Vari. I'm from the UK.
So first, I would like to take you to our first spot, which will be the atomic bomb dome. And I would like to talk about the takeaways and our future with how war is indiscriminate. And with our current political climate going on with the ongoing wars, we believe that we are creating an environment with a nuclear weapon states and non-nuclear weapon states to have another nuclear war going on. And I would like to kind of highlight one of the experiences I had with the hibakusha, which is Koko-san. and she has experienced the dropping of the atomic bomb at a very young age, and she was talking about how she was thinking about who is evil and who is good. And as her father was a minister, he invited a lot of foreign guests at her place, and she got the opportunity to talk to one of the guests that arrived, who was from the United States, and he was actually on the plane that dropped the atomic bomb. And as she was talking to him, she realized that there is no good or evil, as they each had their reasonings for who is evil and who is good. But what we need to think about and what we need to emphasize is how war is indiscriminate and how war creates everything. And no matter the age, no matter who you are, no matter the gender, ethnicity, etc., everyone's gonna be hurt, everyone's gonna be harmed as long as we have war. And next, I would like to pass it on to our next tour guide. Thank you.
Great. Great. So the next stop for these takeaways take place in the memorial park and is related with the narrative. One of the most powerful parts of this program was being able to hear from so many different experiences. We were able to engage not only with hibakushas, but also with civil societies, academia, members of the government, and even between each other. We have heard personal experience, humanitarian and technical approaches, and even political ones. Hearing opinions that sometimes differ from our own made many of us reflect on the importance of understanding where others are coming from when they share their experience, so that we can more wholly understand their perspectives. In fact, it was so powerful to understand how memories of the same event can lead people to such different perspectives. One event can be perceived from different perspectives. It depends on who you ask and what they came through in relation to that event. And that is so powerful a message, and to understand that complex situation that it creates. In fact, these different perspectives can lead in whether deterrence or disarmament ultimately bring lasting peace. This perspective and arguments allow us to understand in a more complete and holistic way the past, the present, and the challenges that we will have to take care and analyze in the future. Now I will pass to the next tour guide.
Thank you. So next destination is our interview with Hibakusha. Actually, on the second day of our program, we were able to talk with Hibakusha and heard their own stories. During one of the testimonies, one of the Hibakusha told us that her hope for our generation is that we do more to bridge broader divides and make friends in other countries. She urged us to do so as international tensions rise, so that we think of one another in the case that our countries engage in conflict. Another guest told us how he managed to build a memory stone for Chinese hibakusha, which actually drew my big attention, because as a Chinese student, I actually didn't know about the dilemma and discrimination they faced back to the 1945. So I personally reflected on myself for the ignorance towards history. But luckily, I got this material from this hibakusha, so I can do more research on the Chinese hibakusha in the future. Early on the program, we were asked that what we hope to get out of this session. Nearly everybody in the program expressed their hope to walk away from this heavy build lasting connections with the program. We feel that we have achieved this goal.
Hello. I am going to bring us to our final destination on the tour, the Sadako Children's Memorial. And I'll be speaking about one of the takeaways that we agreed upon as a group, and that was the importance of peace education. As someone who works a lot with kids, you'd be really surprised at how many questions I get about war, about nuclear war, about weapons from kids that can be as young as 4 years old. And I think that the access to technology that we have today has really widened the awareness that even kids that young have of current events, and the increased stress that these children have about their futures and the prospects of something as terrifying as nuclear war. And so it's easy to forget as we get older how stressful and how terrifying that can feel to a child that has no agency to do anything about these issues. And so something that we discussed as a group was how important peace education is to inviting young people such as ourselves. We were all exposed to this through education, through further education, to give children, give young adults agency over their own lives and a voice in the fight against nuclear weapons and in the fight against war as a whole. And there were lots of examples of this week, standing in front of the Sadako Memorial, speaking with Tim Wright, where he told us of an example where young students from Hiroshima folded 1,000 paper cranes and sent them to each leader of nuclear weapons states to urge them to participate in the negotiations to reach the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. And you'd be surprised how much pressure older people feel when confronted with a child's voice. So I think that is a really great and effective way to reach people who might otherwise be closed off to the cries of humanity. And so as young people ourselves, we once again really, really feel that the importance of peace education cannot be understated. And we all shared that, in our home countries, we did not experience peace education to the depth that we've seen it be here in Hiroshima, be it a full day of peace education on August 6th to memorialize the events of that day, or even, the school trips that we saw accompanying us through the tour that we got from our friend here in the audience, actually, through the Peace Park. There are children all around, and they know what's going on, and so I think we all think it's so important that they receive an education in peace as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So now the next steps is to get up off the bus and to try to take action. And we will try to share with you like our future action and what we are capable to do now. So just before, I want to mention that yesterday we had the great pleasure to speak with 3 youth delegates who currently studies in Hiroshima University. And they are a part of the Youth Peace Volunteers. And they represented something that we all agree here in our group and generally in the academy, that there is a huge lack in the current political landscape. And these young people, they were concrete, they were true, they try to not be unrealistic, but they have motivation to invite us to take actions, to get up, and not just try to put a line on our resume. And these are the types of people that we need to help and to help to have a big voice, and also to put their work in front of the scene. And how we can do that, it's also, I think, to propose to some Japanese universities, but also to some universities in our country to develop more initiative about peace education, but also to share values that sometimes they are often forgotten when political pursuits are involved. So now let's talk about our other action.
If you walk a little bit further, this leads us to accessibility of movement. Although all 21 of us participants, although we are unfortunate to all be present today, come from all corners of the world and share a vast, different range of experiences we could bring to this academy, we will have to acknowledge that we do have one privilege in common. We are all part of an academic elite with strong resources to quality education, which is far from given for most young people. It would also be disingenuous for us not to acknowledge the ways we came to attend this academy and the ways we came to be here, much in thanks to the sponsorships of the government of Hiroshima. Our understanding, further developed and challenged with this academy, goes far beyond the common assumptions and stereotypes that are associated with nuclear deterrency, nuclear abolishment, and nuclear warfare. And we, after discussing quite lengthily earlier and making some hard decisions, have come to agree that expanding access to information is key to combating misinformation and common narratives that often is followed by different medias. For example, reading the Norwegian newspaper today, the main title was, "We as Europe need to prepare for the potential of nuclear warfare to come in the upcoming years." This is often perpetrated by political agendas and narratives that, as much it hurts me to say, is driven by business and the tension of driving fair to make profit. So what can we do? We must question the media, we must question the narratives, we must also analyze why certain things are being included in textbooks, but also more importantly, why certain things have not been omitted. This is of course hard, and this requires collaboration for all parties, but it is integral, not necessarily just further education and peace education I spoke about earlier, but also the quality and extensiveness of perspectives and different viewpoints. It's not enough just to approach things from one certain perspective. As most of us have spoken about earlier today, we were not aware of the hypocrisies that were not from Japan, but we also have to be aware just because there are catastrophes that are associated with our own nations, we also need to look at things more holistically and that we are all interconnected in this one world. Throughout this academy, we have unfortunately experienced firsthand that our experiences and our perspectives with the media haven't always been portrayed in the ways we like to. And at times it has been simplified to perhaps follow a set status quo, which is understandable given the limited time and media attention we have been receiving. Although we are very appreciative that you all have come here, we would also much appreciate that you take with you the more nuanced perspectives you have here and not just follow up on a preconceived agenda. Which leads us to how we will implement these new initiatives. We need to equip people, not necessarily just with more education, but we also need to equip people with the tools to be critical thinkers. At the end of the day, we will not all agree, but having the quality to try and see things with a different perspective is invaluable. And I believe this is what can lead us to maybe not necessarily agree at face value, but start to break bridges and see that although we come from all different parts of the world, we aren't that different from one another. And this leads us to our final and most important walkway of this tour of ours.
One of our final takeaways as a group was that if you walk alone, then you walk a lonely road. And something we really learned here and experienced is that we need to foster community, not just between nations, but within them. So if there is one positive thing that the pandemic taught us, is that people all around the world are only ever one phone call away. And this academy is a testament to how we may be spread across the world, but we are united by a shared hope for the future. Nuclear weapons represent a security, an environmental, an economic, a humanitarian, and a moral issue. Across national and organizational divides, we're all facing the same challenges to our survival, and we're taking up the mantle in different ways. It is vital that we take what we've learned here back to our home countries and work to connect our movement to local and global calls for these universal values of peace, of justice, of human dignity in whatever form their cause takes up. And to understand how the nuclear issue fundamentally affects us all, regardless of divides by national borders or political priorities. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation today. We want to say thank you so much to the organizers of the Hiroshima ICAN Academy and all of the people here today for their engagement, for their time, for their generosity. It has been a life-changing experience to be here in Hiroshima to understand exactly what happened. And we know that we're all going to take away the memory of our experience here, and it will affect our actions back home and hopefully further our movements and inspire us to make change in our respective countries. We're all going to take home and remember our slogan to say that we need to think globally and act locally. Thank you so much.
So those are our participants, everyone. We're so proud of them for their hard work throughout this academy and for the excellent analysis and synthesis of ideas that they have done for these presentations today. Awesome job, guys. I recognize we're a little bit over time, but as is tradition, I would like to ask Kawasaki-san to give some feedback, on the presentations. Thank you. And Tim.
So, this way, okay, here, all right. So, congratulations for all the impressive, wonderful, and even moving presentations. Thank you so much. We set the theme of sustainable security for all, and we gathered here in Hiroshima and met with the Hibakusha and all the difficult and also complicated experience, the history of Hiroshima, the people of Hiroshima, and people who have engaged and supported the process. And with the word of Governor Yuzaki, nuclear deterrence is a fiction, which was so powerful. We now realize that the nuclear weapons is not giving any lasting or sustainable security for anyone. And also, when you talk about security for all, the all includes various different individuals with different background, different nationalities, and different position in societies. So I think listening to your presentations through this 4 days program, we really learned and you digested all the aspect regarding the inhumanity of nuclear weapons and the security depending on nuclear weapons does not provide any sustainable security for anyone. So in a sense that one of the objectives of this academy to put humanitarian perspective at the center of discussion for security has been achieved. I'm so happy and glad to see that and your degree of understanding on that. But at the same time, I need to say that for the part of the next step, yes, you presented so many great steps for next steps. But at the same time, at the last day of this academy, I have to say they're not so easy or simple. When you return to your home and talk to your family, friends, or even colleagues or boss or journalists even,
hey, maybe you can talk to journalists. Say, hey, I was in Hiroshima and learned a lot about atomic bombing. But still, people can react. Hey, in the world where the two major nuclear powers are governed by Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, you never be able to get rid of nuclear weapons. That's the reality. You know, I think those reactions will be a majority, mainstream, normal reactions. And how you challenge and how you change, it's a much bigger bigger challenge that you face and you need to face. And please think over further based on the next steps that you identified here and in facing the reality. And for those area, I think there are two things. One is challenging the other. Now you need to make a great argument to overcome those people, the idea of those people who are promoting the idea of nuclear deterrence, or the concept that the nuclear weapons can bring about peace in the world, you know, or like the very typical theory that nuclear weapons are necessarily evil, you know. So please think of how you can challenge, how you can convince, how you can persuade. This is one thing. And the other thing is how you build coalitions with friends or like those who are supportive or who can be supportive of you. Like maybe you can think of how you can make relations with those who are not working on nuclear weapons but are in a close like interest, like those who are working on climate crisis, or those who are working on social justice, or those who are worried and trying to take actions against the ongoing wars, like in Ukraine or in the Middle East. Those people may not be informed of nuclear weapons issues per se, but they have a great potential to be able to work with you on this theme. So how you build the coalition is the second major thing that you can think through from this point on. So please have these things in mind for your continued work and study. Anyway, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Takeya-san. I just wanted to say how impressed I've been by how thoughtfully you've all engaged with the content this week and in the preceding seminars, and just how well you've worked together as well. It's been beautiful to see. And I think that the correct Japanese expression is yoku dekimashita. Well done. Yeah. Did I get it wrong? Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, thank you. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank the prefecture. I think that it's wonderful that you've shown this vision of bringing youth together to really deepen their understanding of the atomic bombings and the threat that we continue to face in the world today. We're very grateful for the ongoing support of Hiroshima Prefecture for this initiative. So thank you to all of you here from the Prefecture office. And I think that what came through from the presentations just then is that the Hibakusha testimonies were probably the main highlight, but maybe the meeting with the governor was the secondary highlight. We could maybe put it in that order. We're very grateful for the governor's personal support. And finally, I would like to thank all of the organisers. I know that that they've put in so much effort to ensure that you were all able to come here. It's not easy to bring people from around the world together. and for making sure that everything has run smoothly this week. I don't think there were any major stuff-ups. Thank you for that hard work, but also for putting together such a wonderful program, which I think covered all of the really important issues. And, you know, there were fun moments, there were very sad moments, and there were really thought-provoking moments, I think, throughout this week. So that all didn't happen by chance, that happened because it was carefully planned. So I hope that each of you returns home and really considers how you can use what you've learnt here to advance the cause of a nuclear weapon-free world. Maybe to get your country to join the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. I think among this group there are probably a couple of politicians at least, future politicians. I know there's at least one future doctor. In 2 months' time we have a doctor here. People who are going to, you are people who are going to be in positions of influence, and I hope that that this academy has really taught you some important lessons that can help you make contributions to the betterment of humanity. Thanks.
Right. Thank you very much, Tim and Kawasaki-san, for those words of encouragement to our participants. So I'll just wrap things up. It won't be too much longer now with some final thank yous and a tiny final announcement. So amidst all the thank yous that we've had already, of course, I'd like to echo the thank yous to Hiroshima Prefecture for supporting this program. I would also like to thank for their support all the people who contributed to our crowdfunding campaign that we did before the program. Your support enabled us to support all these participants to come to Hiroshima from all over the world in a time where airfare is getting more and more expensive. We hope to bring as many and as diverse people as possible here. So thank you for your support there. Also, it's great to see some of our friends from this week in the audience, like Takahashi-san and Goto-san and Futagawa-san. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure it means a lot to our participants to see you here today. All right, so that's all from me, unless I've forgotten something. No. So if you used a receiver for interpreting, please don't forget to return it on your way out. And thank you again for joining us today. It's been wonderful spending this time with you. And thank you to you guys for your wonderful presentations. That's all. Thank you. Bye.